everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And today we're gonna talk about the main card of the upcoming fight night: Jared Cannonier versus Greovsky, or it is, well, Gregory. I was way off. Apologies for that. But let's begin. Well, before I get into the predictions and fight cards, another very mild fight night. There are some significant, only I think main card and the co-main event are mostly significant. Other than that, most fights are just there for it, just to fill up the fight card. Not much exciting, but it may be. When the fight night comes, you don't really know what you're gonna expect. Things happen and happen. But let's just dive into. I'll be covering the main card, only the main card, right now in the predictions, and in tomorrow I think it's gonna be a main card fight companion, I suppose, because in India it's gonna be at 2 a.m. 2:30 a.m. I think the prelims, and I'm not gonna wake up for the prelims. Fight card, it's gonna start at 5:30. I'll be covering that. So let's just get into it. So the first fight in the main card is gonna be Rodolfo versus Andre in the middleweight division. For the most part, Rodolfo was signed in 2019, and his record in the UFC has been good, with 7 fights, 5 wins, 2 losses, and most of the time there have been, I think, couple of decisions, but most of them has been submissions. So it's gonna be interesting to see how many takedowns or submissions he can land, because he has some decision wins, and most of the time when you are that much of a submission artist, you usually go for takedowns a lot. But now let's see how he bears with Andre Petrosky. Well, I was looking to Andre's UFC career. He has 7 wins and 2 losses. I think the 2 losses has been a decision loss and a TKO, but most of his wins have come by a knockout submission. I think 1 or 2 wins by decisions, but most of them are knockouts or TKOs, if you may say. So it's a typical, I suppose, striker versus wrestling matchup, but in the heavyweight divisions it is mostly about how much stronger you are than the other opponent, or how well you can defend the takedowns. As DC and Chael have pointed out, DC said that most guys know how to do a well takedown defense. They have a good takedown defense for MMA, and that is the reason why Tatiana Suarez couldn't take down Zhang Weili. Like, how dumb can you be? If a girl who has never done wrestling, and she's learning wrestling in Thailand, 1-2 companions with I think Henry Cejudo, but she's better wrestler than Tatiana Suarez. But we're getting off track. So both of them have a good career path in the UFC, and both of their losses have been to a higher level competition, I think, when I was looking to their records. So for the most part, I think I want to lean towards the submission artist, because I think he recently have a win. But then again, Andre is fighting a guy in the main card which he has beaten, so I think I'll be going with Andre Petrosky with a second round stoppage, or it's gonna be a decision win for him. Let's just see what happens. You gotta pick someone in prediction videos, I suppose. But the next fight is gonna be Ismail versus Nazim in the lightweight division. And I don't want to talk about lightweight division that much, because my guy Anshul Jubli just got finished again in the UFC. I will talk about him in the last segment. Ismail versus Nazim, I think I will talk about him after I talk about these two guys in the lightweight division. So Ismail signed in 2024. Both of them have signed in 2024. Ironically, Jubilee also signed in 2024, I think. So Ismail signed in 2024 and a record of 20-4. So in the most cases you can see he's the veteran going into the fight. He only had, I think, one fight, or I think he only had one fight that was a decision. But in fights, sometimes, most of the time, experience matter, man. Experience matter, and he has a lot of it. But most of it is outside the UFC, so I don't know how much it will pan out with Ismail, but let's see what happens. And Nazim signed also in 2024 with 3 fights, same as my guy Anshul Jubilee. If we consider the tournament he won, after which he got signed to the UFC, well, he won that fight. Next two was, well, we are not going to talk about the next two. We are going to, I think, after tomorrow's fight night and reaction to it, I will make a Anshul Jubilee, because I have to defend my guy a lot. But let's see what happens. Well, Nazim signed in 2024, 3 fights, 1 TKO, 1 submission and 1 draw. My guy is on a trajectory to get each kind of a decision that there is to get in the UFC. He has a TKO, he has a submission. Now the only thing that is left is a decision. He also have a draw, and he haven't lost. But his fight record is not as matchable as Ismail, but the guy seems exciting in the last 3, and he have fought more in the UFC than Ismail, so I'll be picking Nazim with the first round stoppage. If it's not the first round stoppage, I think the experience level of Ismail is going to be, if it is on top, I think he will win by decision, but let's go with Nazim with first round finish. And I highly doubt there is going to be any finish in the fight card, but hoping for the best. And then we have another middleweight bout in the fight card, which is Edmund versus Dylan, or Dylan. I think Dylan, but Dylan. So Edmund signed in 2018 and record is 6-4, which is again great. 10 fights in the UFC, and again with him too, most of its finishes are TKOs and subs, which is quite important to do in heavier weight classes, because I believe in heavier weight classes, if you have a little bit well-rounded game, it is far more easier to adapt to the fights rather than implement only a single game plan as to striking. And Daniel signed in 2024, again reminding me of Jubilee a lot, with 0-2 in the UFC. Crazy, man. It's crazy how much I'm reminded of Jubilee in this fight card, but let's just go with it. So Dylan signed in 2024. He has 0-2 record in the UFC, same as Jubilee. And well, it seemed pretty obvious to pick Edmund because of the momentum. I think he has one victory before it, or maybe a loss, don't don't really remember, but hopefully, well, we'll be going for the underdogs, I suppose. Well, I will hope Dylan wins, at least get one win in the UFC. If he wins, I will have more confidence in my guy Jubilee to make a comeback. So it is really important for Dylan to win, but to make a statistical choice, it is Edmund to win. I think it's gonna be a decision in the middleweight division with the... well, let's just go with Dylan, man. Why not? I can't leave Anshul, so why should I leave Dylan? Then we are coming to the two most important fights, one of which the co-main event of the evening, which is Calvin versus Yusuf. Now, Calvin Kattar, the moment he was going to fight Max Holloway, I was scared because I've seen this guy. But the way Max dismantled him was crazy, and I was scared the entire fight. Even when Max was in his god mode, I was still scared. Because if this guy can land, he will hurt you. But that didn't happen. And it is I don't know, I think they're jumping Yusuf. Yusuf is one fight. He's in a one fight win streak, and Calvin is in a 3 fight losing streak. I don't know what gave him to fight for a ranked opponent, and I think a 10th ranked opponent. Calvin is 10th on the rankings, so I don't know what Yusuf did to get that matchup, but here we are. Calvin, I hope Calvin wins, because his fight with Aljo was, I think, not pretty close. He got dominated a lot. But let's just see if he can implement his game plan. His boxing is crisp. He can fight various angles. He has good power in his hand. The elbow he landed on, I'm just not remembering, Jeremy Stevens, I think, was devastating. And again, if he can pull this off, that'd be great to have a win. And if Yusuf wins, it is a win-win for him, because if he wins, he's gonna be in the rankings 7th, above Calvin, which is again incredible to get a top 7, also 10th rank, to get a top 10 ranked opponent. I think more pressure is going to be on Calvin, because he has 3 fight losing streak, which he have fought good opponents, but again, 3 fight is gonna be 4th. He's gonna be in the same category as Kevin Holland in the losing streak. But let's just hope Calvin wins. And well, Yusuf is a new up and coming guy. He can take a win from Calvin, but I'm feeling like maybe Calvin is fueled to win a fight right now, because the 3 fights he lost, I think most people thought he's gonna win. Even in the Aljo one, I think most people thought he's gonna win. Or maybe I'm just making things up, but it's tough, man. It's tough. But I will go with Calvin Kattar to get a win. I don't know about a finish, which will come. It's in up and coming, but well, let's go with Calvin, I suppose. Calvin with a decision or a second round stoppage. It's gonna be crazy. Man, none of my predictions will come true. It's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be crazy. But moving on, we are in the fight card, main event, which I don't really think most people are paying attention. It is Jared Cannonier versus Gregory. Jared is on a 2 fight losing streak, and Gregory is in a 3 fight win streak. And I've seen Gregory's record, the previous one, as I was looking at it. It was crazy, man. The guy had knockouts and got knocked out, which is again a crazy thing to do, man. And I think Jared lost to Imavov last, and before it he lost to someone. I am not remembering to whom he lost to, but Jared is built different. He has the tools to be like very crazy type of guy. He has the power to do it. He has the agility sometimes to do it. He can even land few takedowns if he wants to. But again, Gregory has the height advantage. He was on a roll, 3-fight win streak, and to get the 7th rank, which Jared Cannonier holds right now. So it is this fight card. I think the two of the most important fights, which is the main event and co-main event, both of them have one theme in common. One fighter has a win streak. Again, in Yusuf's case, it's only one in the UFC, and with Gregory, it's 3. And both of their opponents, ranked opponent, have been on a losing streak. Calvin with 3 fight and Jared with 2 fight losing streak. But I think the middleweight main event is going to be a little good, because both of them, I think, will feel like finishing their opponent. If Jared could have just pushed through in the Adesanya fight, I think he would have won. But you can't really know what the fighter is feeling or what he wants to do the time he fights in the cage. But we're just hoping to get a good fight, rather than me getting my predictions right. It is very important to have a fun fight card. For the most part, it has to be a good fight card. If it's boring, it is gonna be a stinker, which is, I think, past few cards have been. But let's just hope this one provides some entertainment this week, and have fun, man. That's all I think most people care about. With the, I think, in Jared and Gregory one, I think I'll be going with Gregory. A new fighter, young blood. I won't say young, I think he's old. But 3-fight win streak, amazing fighting style. He has knockouts. I think a submission is also there, I think. But a very good fighting style. I think it's gonna be a good stylistic fight, because Jared is mostly a striker. He will rarely go for any takedowns, and Gregory, on the other hand, I think will prove to push the pace and to get a finish, because if he can get a finish and break into the top 10, which I think he will take Jared's rank as in 7th, and hopefully he pushes. And I don't know, man, well, let's see what happens with Hamzat and Duplessis, and what future other middleweights hold in the division, because I think Gregory can be a good push to a title. We have him above, which will be a good fight for Duplessis, but if it's just Hamzat, I think he will just submit everyone in the first round. I think the only one to take a little bit challenge to Hamzat, it's DDP, but let's just see what happens this week. When Jared versus Gregory, I will be choosing Gregory. So let me just sum this up. I don't even know if I remember who I chose. Well, I'll be choosing Andre in the opening fight of the main card, and Nazim in the second fight, Dylan in the third fight, Calvin in the co-main event, and Gregory in the main event. Let's just see what happens. Hopefully things go good. If Dylan wins, I'll be very happy because I can push the narrative of Jubilee. And to push the narrative on Jubilee, I think I will make some comparisons to Murad because he also lost his 2 fights. I think first 2 or first 3 he lost 2 fights in the UFC, and now he's the champ. But again, we have to talk about the non-humbleness of my guy Jubilee, which is crazy, man, crazy. But let's just keep our eyes to the main event and the fight night card. Hope you all guys will enjoy the fight card. Most of it is going to be crazy. Tomorrow I'll be covering only the fight card, the main card, of course, and a fight companion. I think wouldn't that be good? But let's just see what happens. UFC Fight Night. Let's go. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you can. Let's go. See you in the next one.